Hi everyone, this is a revival of one of my first videos that I made 2 years ago but improved. You will learn 2 or 3 things in same time, the chronological flow of information, and you will have a better understanding of the function and of the life. The cognitive function type of our personality psychological type is different from how our mind or brain process information chronologically or the information circulates. I will display on the screen the primary process, primary function stack of each psychological type. The function stack of each psychological type is their preferences. The position of the function is what makes their base type, their core functioning, how they are wired, and it will never change. Example, naturally, the INTJ prefer process the NI and TE information and don't prefer process the FI and SE information. Or we could say the NT type prefer process the N and T information and don't prefer process the F and S information. They do process the F and S information like every psychological type, but it is not their preferences. We, all psychological type, process all categories of information, NSTF, intuition, sensing, thinking, and feeling, but there is a loss of information concerning our lower function because it is not our preferences. We don't prefer process a part of this information, we don't want to see a part of this information, we ignore them, we will deal with it later or never when we are very immature. To simplify, the NT type prefer imagine and think and don't prefer feel and sense. The NF type prefer imagine and feel and don't prefer think and sense. The ST type prefer sense and think and don't prefer feel and imagine. And the SF type prefer sense and feel and don't prefer think and imagine. Now we will see how the information circulates chronologically, and in same time we will understand better the function and the life. A reminder, the information equal energy, and when the energy move, circulate, it is the life. The information is on the external world, we receive the information is inside us, we send the information is outside on the external world, like at the beginning. It is the same concept, ID, in the Fibonacci sequence, when we replace the even number by the positive sign and the odd number by the negative sign. It is how the information circulates. The information is always once outside and twice inside, and this to infinity. We can replace the positive or outside by extrovert and the negative or inside by introvert. All these words are the same idea. The energy, the life, the information are the same idea. They always go back and forth, circulate between positive and negative, extrovert and introvert, outside and inside. First, we perceive, observe the information, and after we judge, decide what to do with this information. We use the information that it is on the external world, we understand it in our internal world, we use it on the external world. We gather, collect the information, we organize, control, understand the information, we judge if it fits to us, and we judge for others and the external world. We receive, take the new information, we compare it to the old information that already exists, we verify, check the information, and we send the information. First, we observe, perceive the world, the information is in the external world, we receive it, we collect this new information, we use it. This is our extroverted, observing, perceiving function, OE or PE. SE, extroverted sensing, gather the new fact, thing, and NE, extroverted intuition, gather the new concept. Secondly, inside we organize, compare the information to what we already have. If it is the same concept, NI, we connect the information to another. If it is the same thing, fact, SI, we put it in the sandbox. If it fits, we keep. If it doesn't fit, we reject, we let it be. We determine if the information fits to our own personal perception, to our own vision, mental map, NI, or to our own replica, copy of the reality SI. Thirdly, we verify, check if the information fits to ourselves, to our own personal judgment, what we feel about it, if it's good for us, fit to what we value or like, FI, or what we think about it, if it is correct, true, right, logic for us, if it's fit to our system, TI. If it fits, we keep the information. If it doesn't fit, we reject it, we let it be. What we decide to do with this information for ourselves. Fourth, we judge, decide what to do with this information for the external world or for other people. If we judge it is good, socially acceptable for the world or for others, FE, or if it is reasonable, useful, practical, work for the world or other, TE. When we communicate, express, use, do something with this information. Each psychological type have SENI or NESI and FITE or TIFE, which make four combination the four quadra or four families. The psychological type of the same quadra, same family, have the same chronological process or flow of information. For the alpha family, INTP, ENTP, ISFJ, ESFJ, their chronological process or flow of information is NE, SI, TIFE. For the beta family, ISTP, ESTP, INFJ, ENFJ, their chronological process or flow of information is SE, NI, TIFE. For the delta family, ISTJ, ESTJ, INFP, ENFP, their chronological process or flow of information is NE, SI, FITE. For the gamma family, INTJ, ENTJ, ISFP, ESFP, their chronological process or flow of information is SE, NI, FITE. But in the process, they may lose information due to their preferences because they neglect, repress, or ignore certain functions. We, all, each psychological type have tendency to ignore a part of the information of their function for that they repress. Example, for the gamma family, in the chronological process or flow of information, SENIFITE, for INTJ, the loss of information is at the beginning at SE. For ENTJ, the loss of information is at this step at FI. For ESFP, the loss of information is at this step at NI. For ISFP, the loss of information is at the end at TE. And it is the same idea, concept, pattern for the other families. Each psychological type have a loss of information somewhere in their chronological process. I will end this video by some note. It is probably when the information is internal, introverted, when we interpret it, we modify it, we transform it. This is what leads to misunderstanding, conflict, and differences. Because we have different perception and different judgment, we may have different value and logic system. Our dominant function always has the last word concerning our functioning. The Fibonacci sequence, the succession of the positive, negative, negative, positive, negative T's ad infinitum, is how the life function unfold, grow, circulate, move. And because by pattern recognition, information equal energy equal life, all of that is the same concept, ID. It is how function and circulate the life, the energy, the information, almost everything. To live, to function, we constantly need and naturally go back and forth between introversion and extroversion, between introverted function and extroverted function. I wonder why no one noticed it before, or if I am one of the rarest person to connect the dots and think so deeply, having this deep pattern recognition. Maybe I have too much NI or too much thinking. Probably very few people really want to know how really life functions at the essence. Too few people are interested with this kind of thing. Anyway, this is how the life, energy, information function and circulate, at least for my perception, for my understanding. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.